You give me patience to make that happen. You give me patience. All right. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for another Saturday, an opportunity to drive the word, fly the word based on information that are in the books. But before we start, I want to make a disclaimer, right? This is a social club, book club, and this is one of its kind because you can't readily find this anywhere else. And God has given us the mandate that we can pour into each other through this process. So this is open to the public. We're not representing any organization, any business, any company, any author. We're just reading books. And we identify some of these books based on our own reviews, based on understanding the laws of the land and on the experiences that we have had. And that's why we're able to validate that some of these books is in alignment with what is happening in real time. So as we speak, as we discuss, know that as you're here, being present is a concept that you are allowed to share your story, okay? But as much as possible, try to avoid calling companies' names, calling individual names, calling authors' names. You can call the authors because we are reading their books, but not their lifestyle, but the book that is written. And what makes us readers is that as readers, as we read, we filter out what belongs or what is aligned with us. We take it. What is not current with the current reality, we discard it. But it's up to you to filter out both. Okay? And of course, you take what that pertain to you. But otherwise, I want to say welcome to Book Club today, October 18, 2025. And what we do here is just to read. We read books. And it's only those who want to show up, those who want to own the narrative that goes around them, their families, their children that are here. The rest who want to depend on somebody else are not here. Okay? So based on that, we're still reading this book. Okay? Maybe by the end of today, we're going to pick up the next book we're going to read. I see that this book is in alignment with the power of zero. And of course, it's generating a lot of discussions because, man, we're all connected based on retirement process. We are all connected based on the money system. We are all connected based on the things we are reading now. This is actually the reality. Most of us have been reading books that are not real. It's like fantasy. It does not exist. But what we are reading now is the day-to-day activities and engagement and discussions we're having. That's why it brings is home. It comes home, it makes it, you can feel it. It's no more theory, but you can feel it. You can understand how these things impact your life. So if your brothers and your sisters, your uncle, your children, most kids are on holiday right now, wake them up. Some people say they are still children. No, no, no. If you're gonna give them a phone, they can hear. Train up a child in a way he will grow. When he grow, he will not depart from it. The next verse said, teach them that the borrowers are slave to lenders. Are you developing borrowers in your house or lenders? Who are you developing? My goal is to develop lenders. And one of the ways I'm going to develop them is to make sure they have self-education. In addition to the academic education, they have to have self-education. And that is what we are promoting here, is how do we read books and self-educate ourselves? So we are not borrowers, we become lenders. And we will lend to nations. You're not going to lend to nobody if your hand is empty. Okay? So we want to be the lenders. We have to lend to the nations based on the knowledge that we apply. Because they say information informs, right? Knowledge informs, but understanding transforms. So we want to create, give me a second. we want to create transformation in our community among the middle class Canadians and Americans, but we can only do that with the education first. Education, then action. But action cannot take place when the person do not have the knowledge enough to do what to make a right decision. Do you know that ability to make decision, hold on, let me see. Ability to make decision is an art, is a skill. Okay? Is a skill that all of us must develop. Okay. All right. All right. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. All right. So what I was saying that the books we are reading is not a joke. We're taking ownership. When we read and empower ourselves, then making decisions becomes easy. Okay? So let's get the basics, and there we can propel the knowledge and champion the knowledge inside the house. Don't worry about the people outside your home. Okay? But while you're doing it in your area, I'm doing one in my area, we're doing it in different locations, then it comes together and it builds a sustainable community that we want to have. Otherwise, I want to say welcome again on behalf of myself, my husband, my children, who are all on this call. I want to say thank you so much for being part of this club. We don't take it for granted. We know this club is going somewhere, okay? And I'm happy you're part of it, all right? So let's pick up our book. We're still reading The Bottom Dollar, okay? And who can tell us where we stopped last time? Let me see the readers in the house. Where did we stop last time? Guys,
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
We are starting chapter 9, or we finish chapter 9?
We finished chapter 9.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, the Zoom link is the same. I see people calling me to give them the Zoom link. The Zoom link for the book club remains the same for each year. We never change it. Okay. So I will encourage you to plug that in to your paper. So you don't need to be asking someone. If you're coming here to read and you didn't say nobody, start reading. Okay? You come here, you want to read, and nobody showed up. That's how we know those who are what do you call them? Corporate motivators or individual motivators, right? So once you enter here, you don't see anybody, start reading. So we're going to chapter, let me see.
10, I guess 10.
We are starting with chapter 10. Let me make sure. I usually put my, yes, we did finish chapter 9. We did finish chapter 9. We're going to chapter 10. And be patient with chapter 10. Chapter 10 is an interesting concept that each and every one of us need to understand. Okay, especially if you're going to build income for life for yourself, for your own self, not for your children, not for husband, not for wife, not for community, but for yourself. Okay, so but before we continue, let me make some people co-hosts. I have Miss Mary here. Miss Mary, I'm going to make you a co-host. If you can put I. Miss Becky, I'm going to make you a co-host. Okay, because sometimes some people, they want to be here, but their spirit is scattered somewhere. So let's help them stay straight. Okay. Miss Catherine, I'm making you a co-host. Who wants to read? Who wants to read? Tell us your name and where you're calling in from. And read, project your voice as you're reading, okay? All right, let's go.
I can read.
Okay, go ahead,
My
Miss.
name is Rebecca from Maryland. Maryland in the house. Chapter 10. Variable annuity, fixed annuity, and fixed indexed annuity. In this chapter of the book, we will keep it short and give you an overview of the three types of annuities: variable, fixed, and fixed index annuity, along with the pros and the cons. Variable annuity. The variable annuity is a type of annuity contract in which the value can vary based on the performance of an underlying stock market related investing strategy. Those strategies determine the rate of return that it may accrue in good market years, as well as the losses it may accrue during the market downturns. In short, if the market does well, your annuity does well. If the market does poorly, your annuity will experience those losses. Understanding variable annuities. Variable annuities are simple in comparison, and only a few factors contribute to the value of your annuity. The components are the principal amount, which is made up of the amount of money you put into the account. The other component is the returns, also known as the money you make from the performance of how your money is working for you within the annuity. The most common type of annuity is called the deferred annuity. Now, I know you may be asking what a deferred annuity is. In a nutshell, it is the most popular type of annuity used for retirement income. It can be set up several ways for distributions/retirement income, and it can be set up to pay out monthly, quarterly, and annually when you have completed funding your retirement and you are at the age of retirement. A fixed annuity. Fixed annuities are another popular option and more on the conservative side. The benefits to these are that you are guaranteed a rate of return no matter what the stock market does. The drawback is that the guaranteed return is often very little, usually in the range of 3 to 5%, which is nice, but also limits the ability for the account to accumulate value. Let's think about this. If inflation rises 2 to 3% in a typical year, then you are either just barely keeping up with it or just barely outpacing it in a typical year. That limited growth potential makes it very limited to the point where I'd say it's not worth it. The good news is that at least you aren't losing money, so there are some positives to these types of annuity accounts. It is, however, very important that you really map this out for yourself with a professional to see if this may be a suitable solution for you. Fixed indexed annuity. The final type of annuity is one you may not have heard of, but has tremendous benefits. It is the hybrid between the above-mentioned variable and fixed annuity. Now, that means you get to the principal protection, like the variable annuity, and the fixed annuity. The biggest upside of these is that you get the market growth potential of the variable annuity. Let's keep this simple and say you have $100,000 inside a fixed indexed annuity. The market does well, and you net a 20% rate of return. You now have a net worth of $120,000. That is pretty good, wouldn't you agree? Now, let's say you have that $120,000 in the fixed indexed annuity, and the market takes a 20% downturn. Did you lose any money? The answer is a resounding no. You still have all your $120,000, and that is fantastic. You may be asking how that is possible. Simply put, the company is contractually obligated to provide that. Now, let's say you have $100,000 in a variable annuity, and the market takes a downturn of 20%. Now, in your variable annuity, you have a value of $80,000. That's not good at all. You just lost $20,000. Next, let's say you have $100,000 in a fixed annuity capped at 3% growth. The market grows 20%, but remember, you are capped at 3%. Your account value is now $103,000. You just sacrificed $17,000 of potential growth. That is not good at all. I will say, however, that it is better than losing that 20% to market volatility. The fixed indexed annuity ensures you will capture both positives. You get to benefit from the entirety of the stock market growth while still being protected from stock market volatility. In short, you will protect your principal, benefit from market growth, and never lose money. If that sounds like something you would like to learn more about and see if you may qualify for the many tremendous benefits of the fixed indexed annuity, then reach out to me and my team. Well, reach out to Dr. Ruth, and we will see what we can do for you. If you found this interesting, then keep reading. The following chapters will continue to open your eyes and provide an immense amount of value.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's good. Now you know it's simple, but this is something I want to add. We are living in a world right now where there's so much uncertainty. But there's only one thing that's certain. You're going to retire. Retirement is certain that is going to occur. Now, annuity, the internal revenue code for annuity is what? 575. Is the same internal IRS that gave internal revenue code 401k, 403b, TSP 457. Guys, you know, those code does not really mean anything. What it represents is where you work and who controls what. Let me repeat that. Whatever internal revenue code you have does not make you superior in that job place than the other one who has 403 or what. It only represents where you work. And they may call it different things. Some call it a fancy name, defined cup. And you ask somebody, do you have 403B? Say, no, I have what they call defined cup. Oh, you're the same. There's no difference. You're in the same bucket. The only difference is that you're going to Walmart, I'm going to Target, someone else is going to Kroger, another person is going to Amberson or something of that nature. But we're all going to go to Ware Market and we're going to buy the same thing, food. But the good news is that you also have the right to use 575. But here's the good news. You are in control of your 575. Nobody. You can roll over everything you have in defined cup or even non-qualified towards this annuity bucket. But like we discussed the previous times, is that if you're working in an organization right now, you're active, you cannot roll over the money where you're currently working unless, according to the law, unless you are 59 and a half and above. But even with 59 and a half and above, some institutions will not even allow you to touch that bucket until you disengage with them. They will not allow you. But now you know that's what they call fixed index annuity. Okay? I don't know, my this thing is having issues here. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Now you know there is what is called annuities. You know the different types. If you know you're going to retire one day, I don't know is variable is going to be your option. It's up to you to decide. I don't know whether fixed is going to be your option. It's up to you to decide. But for me, all my money before all of them that I've retired, I moved all of them to fixed index annuity. And since the market has been going dancing up and down, I've not lost a dime. Guys, I will never share with you what I'm not doing. I'm only going to share with you what I am doing that I have experienced in real time. It's no more practical. It's not just book. It's the reality. You don't have to believe it, though. If you believe it, fine. If you don't believe it, fine. But guess what? This conversation will happen under your roof. Either it's happening in a reality where you're smiling, or it's happening where you're crying. But it must happen. And that's why we're taking ownership right now. So my brothers and my sisters on this call, if you have retired or you're no more in that job, you have moved to a new job, that money sitting in any of these your retirement portfolio, the law allows you to roll over that money to what? Fixed index annuity. So you don't lose any money due to market fluctuation. I know they told you that the market will recover. Let the market recover with your investment. Let the market recover with your real estate, but don't mess with the money that is meant to take care of you when you retire. Because when you retire, you are on your own. Okay? There's no paycheck except that little social security coming from somewhere. The same thing applies to Canada. It's not just US. Okay? I met a lady who said that she's retired. As I was talking to her, she said, oh, her job is paying for her health insurance. That they're going to pay until she turns, I think she turns 60 or 65. And I say, after 65, who pays you then? They say you're going to die by 65? Or what is the goal? What is your plan? He said, I never even thought about that. I say, okay. So even after your retirement, your brain have not opened to let you know that this person is not interested in your welfare. But you're still waiting for social welfare. Guys, it's time for us to move from social welfare to your own private, family, individual welfare. You are the only person that is interested in your future. Nobody else. Not your employer, not your employee. You are the only person interested in your future. So just take action. Move your money that you're sure you cannot afford to lose. Put it in a fixed index annuity. As long as it's coming from one of those retirement buckets. If you're already retired, you are in the distribution phase where you're taking money out. It's up to you to decide what you want to do, but you are more at risk because you cannot afford to lose $1. Because every money you lose, if you have $1 and lose 50%, what do you have left? You're going to have 0.5, right? 50 cents. That's what you're going to have. But guess what? You need the market to return by 100%. Let me use my screen too. Maybe that will help somebody understand what I'm trying to talk about. Guys, look at this. Can you see my drawing, this in here? Ms. Becky, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So guys, this is what I'm talking about. If you have $1,000 in any account that is accumulating, your focus is accumulation, no problem. Okay? There's nothing wrong in accumulating. But you happen to lose this by 50%. The market goes down by 50%. Oh, you didn't lose everything. But now what you have is what? $500. Now, I want to let you know that if the market returns by 50%, you're still at loss. For you to come back to 1,000,
Dr. Ruth, this is not a whiteboard. Something is, you're writing on top of the YouTube.
Okay, hold on. Let me put something up. My apologies for writing on the YouTube screen. Okay. I'll find a screen for you. Hang on. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out this technology out, right? Even there's supposed to be IT manager somewhere.
You're doing good.
Okay. Can you see this black one?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what I was trying to show is this. I'm trying to make it where any person can understand. You see, this is $1,000. Okay. That is what you have sitting in your, let's say, your 401k somewhere. Okay. And all of a sudden, the market goes down. The stock market goes down by 50%, which me and you, nobody have control, not even the White House. Nobody have control what the market does. Okay? They can make only projection based on history, but nobody have control of what is going to happen. When this market goes down, now you have 500. Of course, the market is going to recover. That one is guaranteed. It will recover. It will never stay in that place. When this market recover, if the market recovered by 50%, you are back to what? 750,000. 750. You're not back to your 1,000. For you to come back to 1,000, my people, this market has to recover by at least 100%, which most of the time is impossible. Or it might take another 5 to 10 years for this to happen. Or it may come back 200%, 300%, amazing. Okay? It may come back 300%, 400%, amazing. But how long is it going to take to come back? You are 65 years old. You are 55 years old. You are 45 years old. How long is this market going to come back to 100%? What if in the course of coming back, another one hit? And now 67 is in front of you and you must retire. The organization is they're going to push you out. That's the truth. Because your cognitive function is going down. Your strength is going down. You cannot lift somebody up anymore. Before I retired from corporate America, there's one thing. I will not forget that incident. I used to be a teacher that teach people how to revive other people. That's what I teach. And I have this lady, she came to my practical session. She cannot compress. I did everything. I put it on the floor. It didn't work. I put it on the table. I give her a stool. It didn't work. My people, the energy was not there. But in her heart, she still feels strong, right? But physically, the energy is not there. I tried everything, no way. I can't sign that paper, my people, because my credibility is at stake. He said, but I can go to somewhere they send. I said, my sister, you're good, free to go to somewhere else. You see, my signature is not going to be on this paper. You know, I communicated with all the leadership involved and say, hey, the safety of your patients are not safe when this person is at work. Her spirit is strong, but her physical body is no more there. Guys, this happened on Tuesday. She retired on Thursday. No option. You know what kind of retirement is that, right? So they did her good. They didn't want to fire her. So there's no option than to create emergency seat and retire her by Thursday because she's not safe in that environment. You don't want to find yourself in that situation. And it happened that Thursday is the day the market crashed. Who are you going to blame? So now you have the opportunity now to make sure that every money call retirement portfolio that belongs to your name, your own. If you don't know the places you have worked before, you don't even know where they are, go and find them. Go and find them and begin to sit down with the person that gave you this Zoom link and said, I want to make sure that all my accounts are sitting still, that you cannot afford to lose. When the market is a negative, you see that 0 is a hero. I want you to write that down. If the market is a negative, 0 is what? Hero. It becomes your best friend. You're better off at 0. I know most of us don't like 0. For those that went to college like me, you don't like the word 0. They say your score is 0. This time, when it comes to your money, 0 is your best friend when the market is in the negative. Okay? So, any questions, any comment before we get to the next slide? Next chapter.
Dr. Ruth.
That's a good one.
So this line under fixed index annuity said, now that means that you get the principal protection like the variable annuity and the fixed annuity. So what it means that in a variable annuity, even though it depends on the market, the only thing that is fluctuating is the gains, not the principal.
Yes, mostly the gains. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Mostly the gains. If not, so people are not going to go there now. They'll see they remain in the same volatile market, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's the gain that is fluctuating. Good question.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's go to chapter 11. Okay. Let's go to chapter 11. Who wants to read? Who wants to read?
I can read.
All right. Tell us your name, where you're calling in from.
My name is Titi Chikore. I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right.
And
Thank you.
good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Chapter 11, page 55. The power of indexing. I must admit, I've been looking forward to writing this section and sharing this very powerful information with you about the power of the greatest investment hack in the history of investing and money placement. We are going to go over all the amazing features that properly structured indexed strategies provide. You may be familiar with the different global indexes utilized by Wall Street, but just in case, I will name the most utilized and best performing indexes here, so you are at least refreshed on what they are. NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, Hang Seng, Dow Jones Industrial Average, Eurostoxx 50. You may be thinking, well, that is all good, but I know nothing about the individual indexes and how they work. I get it. It can be intimidating and complex, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. I had the exact same thoughts when I started looking at investing and how and where I should be investing. As I spent hours reading, researching, and learning, I thought that there has to be an easier way to receive the benefits of all these different indexes, while also strategically reducing the risk. I don't know about you, but I like things to be easy, streamlined, and low maintenance. Can you relate to that feeling? I was then introduced to the solution and exactly what I had been searching for: a method of allocating my money into a strategy with tremendous upside potential while virtually eliminating any risk of market volatility. Yes, you read that right. There is a way, and a very out of the status quo way, to place money for investment, retirement, or college planning purposes that will allow you the opportunity to earn tremendous upside market potential and completely eliminate the possibility of experiencing any market downside volatility. Let's get into the core of these powerful strategies and how they work. The strategy is called indexed. Some of the amazing features associated with indexing are the cap and the floor. Let me explain this a little further. Cap. The market interest rate you can potentially earn up to when the market is growing. That is usually between 15 and 20% with most companies. Some companies do allow you to capture above the cap if that is what you desire and can be well worth exploring to see if that is a good option for you. Let me give you an example of the cap at work. Let's say you have a cap of 15% and the market does 20%. Do you get to benefit from the entire 20%? The answer is no. You will benefit from the cap amount, in this case 15%. The company you are partnered with captures the difference between the cap and the actual interest earned. In this example, the company would capture the difference of 5%. Now, at this point, you may be thinking that sucks, but they are not keeping that 5%. They are reallocating it to their general funds, which allows them to keep the guarantees on your flow and translates to you never losing money. And as I mentioned above, indexes can be used that are uncapped with high participation rates, no spreads, all while still maintaining a 0% floor. Floor. The lowest point you can drop in a stock market correction. Let me ask you, do your current plans have a floor, or is it open to experiencing all the market losses that may occur? The floor protects your money from experiencing any market losses at all, ever. Most companies' floors are set at 0.75%. In a 0% scenario in a market downturn, you lose nothing, but you also gain nothing. I want you to think about that for a second. Isn't that amazing? Let me give you an example. Let's say you had 100,000 directly in the market, and all of a sudden the market corrected and lost 20%. How much would you have left? Did you guess $80,000? Well, if you did, you are correct. How does it make you feel that you just lost 20,000 of your hard-earned dollars and there wasn't anything you could do about it? If you are anything like me, then even just the thought of that made your skin crawl. However, with the flow protection in place, you don't need to concern yourself with the possibility of your skin crawling, losing sleep, or waking up and seeing that the stock market plummeted overnight like it did 2008 and so many other times in history. Let me give you an example of the flow at work for you. Let's say you have 100,000 in an index strategy and suddenly market drops 20% and your flow is set at 0%. How much of that loss did your account experience? How much money is still protected and secure in your index account? If your answer was, I didn't lose a dime and I still have all 100,000 of my hard-earned dollars, then you are correct. Isn't that just flat out amazing? What you are getting is 15% uninterrupted compound interest, as well as the safety and protection of the flow. Below is a graph that shows the power of indexing next to the stock market performing next to the stock market performance starting in 1998 all the way through to 2020. You can see all the market growth and market volatility and how the index strategies did in comparison. Unfortunately, for those who don't have the book, you won't be able to see the graph. In closing of this chapter, let me ask you just a few final questions that I ask each and every one of my clients when we sit down with them. Does it make any sense to trust your entire financial future at the mercy of the stock market and its volatility if you had a better option? What is more important, interest earned or dollars kept? Last question. Which one of these options can you spend to maintain the lifestyle or obtain the possessions you desire to have throughout your lifetime? And interest earned or dollars kept? If this breakdown of the power of index strategies piques your interest and you want to learn more about them and how exactly we use them, then continue reading the upcoming chapters. We will get into more detail on how you can maximize the utilization of these powerful strategies.
Thank you. Thank you. Interest earned or dollar kept.
And
Somebody said, and I quote, he said, one of the most expense that take money out of your pocket is interest and what? Taxes. How are you going to deal with that? It doesn't matter whether you live in US or Canada. The situation is the same. Interest earned or dollars kept. You need both. You need to keep your dollar and earn your interest in an environment where there is a flaw. I don't know if somebody picked that language right there. Miss Becky, does your current account have a flaw?
Yes. Yes.
I like that. I like
Dr.
that.
Ruth, all my accounts have a floor and a cap.
It has a flaw, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, if you're here, your account does not have a flaw. I'm telling you, you're going to make an interest, but I don't know if you're going to keep the dollar. Okay? So let's help you keep the dollar by making sure you're applying this knowledge and the interest, and also do what? Keep the dollar. Okay? You have the right to do the same. But in order to keep the dollar, you have to be in charge. That's the difference. The difference between earning interest and keeping the dollar and earning interest without keeping the dollar is who is in control. Are you the one in control, or your CPA, or your accountant, or your financial advisor, or your job, or social media? Okay? I'm in control of mine, but you should be. As we're reading this book, most of us might be thinking, oh, let me go call my brother and tell them. But are you in control? Ownership, remember, that's what this is all about. Some people discuss ownership somewhere else. No, this is where the real ownership takes place. Man, I'm so fascinated with that language right there. If you want to keep the interest and keep the dollar, you must be in charge. You have to take ownership of your financial world. That's the only way it's going to work. You're going to pray, but pray with your one eye open. You pray with this one closed, you open this one wide. Open it wide to see. Because my Bible says, watch and pray. You're not watching with eyes closed. You're watching with your two eyes open. Watch and pray. Can be praying in your heart. You open your eyes and be watching. Who is in charge? Write it down. In order to make interest and keep your dollar, you must be in charge. You have to be the owner. You have to be the driver of your own financial world. If it's not what is happening, sorry, you're not going to be able to achieve Remember my slogan: cost-free, tax-free, stress-free, with financial abundance retirement. You will never come closer to it if you're not in charge. Cost-free, tax-free, stress-free, financial abundance retirement. If you are not in charge, that will never be your portion. It's not going to happen. Because nobody else is interested in your future except you. You and you alone. Nobody. Okay? So for some people who are business colleagues, business here, if you're in the same business with me, that is also a prospecting language. Who can pick up that? Sir, is your current account have a flaw? He said, what is that? He said, sit down, let's talk about it. I hope somebody's taking that note. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. I see Miss Cecilia's hand is up. Miss Cecilia, go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Ruth. Thank
Good
you,
morning, how are you?
everyone. Morning, everyone. So I really want to emphasize on the statement you made earlier about people going to look into what they have, checking everywhere they have retired, they've worked before, or they quit before, and see what they have. Because I did an annuity for a lady. So she said, I have this tax savers money, 200 and something. It's going up and down. And I said, when was the last time you checked it? She said, I haven't checked it since this year. I said, well, how do you know it's going up and down? He said, because somebody told her that her own is going up and down. I said, okay, let's go ahead and do that. So we started that application. And I said, by the way, do you have other annuity? She said, maybe I will check. So I did that annuity. I haven't submitted it, but I was about. So this woman, all of a sudden, she calls me. She said, oh, I have this share account. It has 13,000 from it. I don't even know when I started it. Oh, I have 20,000. That's a college bound that I found out. Then there's one called IRA Index. Then there's one from Athene too. I mean, she has about 5 different accounts that she just found out this week that she had. Each of them has $20, 20,000, 6,000. She said, I need to find a way to bring all these things together, because if you did not do this, I will not know about all these accounts. And nobody in my house know anything about what I have. So yes, it's very important. Some of people that works from one job for the other. Believe me, you probably started a 401k that you did not know. Maybe you worked there for only 6 years, 1 year and left. And they have that 401k there. That's why she has 6,000 here, 4,000 here, 5,000 here. Go find it. You can put all of them in a need if you mix up to 20,000. That's all I want to add.
That is correct. Go find it, my people. Okay? They give you those options. Do you want to take lump sum and all that? Sit down and I begin to, sometimes I had to slap myself a little bit and say, where have you been, for goodness sake? Where can such a discussion is happening and you are somewhere else trying to be busy, you're reading this class, you're going to this one. But the most important thing is never discussed anywhere. Not in the church, not anywhere. Everybody is busy trying to go to heaven, and the earth, we have not finished living on it. Nobody have exhausted living on earth to the fullness. Nobody is living to the full potentials of where we are. We are focusing on the heaven. Heaven is good. But if you cannot live on heaven on earth, how are you going to live in heaven in heavens that you haven't seen? Guys, let's come back. It's common sense. It's common sense. Some people tell you, you don't need to worry about your money. It's not all about money. It's all about what? Tell me why you go to work every day. You could have sit down and sleep, wear blanket. Okay? Tell me why you run businesses. It's to make money. So why will you be making the money and throwing it away? Even my Bible says we eat, we are not full. We eat, we are not full. We make the money, we put it in a bucket that have a hole. How many of you have read that verse of Bible before? When you don't know where your money is, it's scattering everywhere, and the market is crashing it out. That is what that portion is saying. It says you make money, you put it in a bucket that have holes, and every day it's pouring away. One of my physician friends said, I didn't know that I was using basket to go to fetch water. Think about using basket to get to fetch water. How much water are you going to come back with? Whenever you refuse to sit down and take accountability of your own money, you're fetching water with what? Basket. That is why you work so hard. You talk all night. You talk all day. You sit down, you can see it. You're like, what is wrong? And they now come and deceive you and say it's your village people. Your village people can't do jack. And instead of you focusing to find a way to close that basket, fix it, you're busy trying to pray for your village people to die. If all of them die, who are you going to celebrate with? If all your village people collapse now and die because they're all your enemies, I don't know what Quran says. I'm using Bible because that's what I believe in. He said, I will make a table in the presence of your enemies. If all your enemies die, whose table are you going to sit? Because it's only your enemies that will gossip about you and celebrate your glory. If all of them die, who's going to gossip about you? Who's going to give you free marketing? And you're spending your energy praying for this enemy 24/7. You don't know that you are your own enemy. You're your own enemy. Guys, stop going to pour water. Stop going to the river with basket. Stop. Stop praying for your village people to die. Wake up and take charge of what belongs to you. It's your own. You work hard for it. Let your $1 count. That is what this book is saying. Let it count. We all will go to heaven, so I'm telling you, we'll go to heavens. But let's create heavens here. There's that part that says, as it is in heaven, on earth. There's something that says that. Okay, somewhere. Okay?
On earth as it is in heaven.
Okay. So on earth, let's make use of this earth. He has given it to us. Let's make use of it and come out from being borrowers and being lenders. You cannot lend when your water is pouring away. You cannot lend. You're always going to run to someone to borrow from them because your basket is leaking. It's not meant it needs bucket that is sealed, okay, that has a floor. No matter what, that floor is there. Guys, you're going to live here today telling yourself, I'm going to earn my interest. I'm going to keep my dollar. If you're going to be singing it every morning, sing it as a song. I will make my interest. I will keep my dollar. I will make my interest. I will keep my dollar. That's what you're going to say. All right. Let's go to the next chapter. The solution, chapter 12. The solution. Who wants to read?
I can read, but I can't be on camera. Is that okay?
2
I can
million.
read.
2 million dollars.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling it from. Where is the person reading?
Oh, I said I can read and cannot be on camera. Is that okay?
And I say you're owing me 2 million, no problem. Go ahead.
I will make it, Miss Dr. Ife.
Okay, all right.
The solution, chapter 12, the solution. If you have reached this chapter of the book, you should have had some type of mindset shift about what we have been taught, about money and what we have been led to believe. I want people to see the whole picture. If you can tell, transparency is important to me, and helping everyone understand that you have options, but truly understanding those options makes all the difference. This is a solution that can help take away the worries of losing money in a down market, the risk of running out of money too soon, outliving your money during retirement, and many other aspects that are hurting and affecting many Americans. This strategy was invented in 1997, and there was someone with a good amount of genius to figure this out. Someone at an insurance company worked out that they could take a market-linked CD and tie it to an insurance policy. The main reason for this was to leverage the 3 tax codes our government has put in place for properly structured, secure compounding interest accounts. From this initial design, it improved and only got better. Today, you can link to quite a few different indexes, and you can also dollar cost average inside your policy. Dollar cost averaging is an investment strategy where the insurance company divides up the total amount to be invested across the year and will buy the internal call options of a target asset on a monthly basis. You can even diversify and leverage more than one index inside that company, depending on what they offer. It's also important to touch on participation rates. You will hear many people say they can lower participation rates whenever the company wants. Now, there is some truth to this statement, but it's also very generalized statement to make all IUL sound like they are the same. A participation rate represents a percentage of total index gain allocated to the policy. When it comes to participation rates, some companies will have in the contractual writing that their par rate starts at 100% and can be moved below to a guaranteed percentage. Other indices can be picked where it is 100% participation and guaranteed to stay at 100%. Again, it's crucial you pick the right company for your goals and what you want to use. Some companies also allow for 100% plus in participation, and they are still guaranteed to stay above 100%. For example, there is a company that has 135% participation rate and is guaranteed to stay about 100%. Let me ask you this. In a 401k, IRA, or even a bank, what is your guaranteed participation rate? It's 100%. If it goes up 10%, you receive 10%. If it performs at minus 10%, you lose 10%. That's a beautiful aspect here. In a properly structured, secure compounding account, you are set in a floor of 0 to 0.75%, and you will not participate in that minus 10% example. Isn't that powerful? 0 is your hero.
Okay. So you put it here again, 0 is your hero. So look at this. I want you to pay attention to that paragraph she just finished reading. Okay. Most of our middle class Americans and Canadians are beginning to come into the solution. And that solution is Index Universal Life. Okay. So, but the question is, most people focus so much on what they pay than what the value is. Whenever you have the discussion of participation rate in an Index Universal Life, it means that that particular strategy do not have, 99% of the time, do not have a cap. It's an uncapped index. And at that time, they use participation language instead of cap. But are you even reading what is the participation rate of that uncapped strategy? If it's 100% today, that's what the book is saying. If it's 100% today, do the companies say they're going to keep it at that 100%? Or they're going to lower it at some point? That is why you have to now look at, what does your contract say? Again, ownership. Have you ever seen them to read your contract? For most of you here on this call, they are privileged to have the solution. Have you ever seen them to read what your contract said? It's a legal language, right? Have you ever seen them to read it? Do you even understand what they're saying? If you have not, then it means that you're probably not keeping your dollar. Or you may not be there long run. Don't just marry, finish the marriage and walk away. You have to maintain the marriage. You have to stay in this marriage. Keeping marriage is not easy. The day you enter marriage with Index Universal Life, which is an individual marriage, it's not a corporate affair, it's not a family marriage, it's individual marriage. This one, you're marrying yourself with your IUL. How are you maintaining this marriage so you don't have any divorce at any point in time? So if you're not used to reading these things, and you have one of those IULs that use the word participation rate, go back, read your contract, and figure out what your contract says. Because the insurance companies must operate within the contractual what? Language. And the law says if the contract language is ambiguous, it will do what? Be in the favor of the client. But when the client don't even know what it says, how are they going to fight for their right? Okay? So you have to fight for your right. You can only fight for the right that you know. If you don't know the game, the rules of the game, how are you going to win the game? You're not going to win. Miss Cecilia, go ahead.
So, Dr. Ruth, if the annuity company are using the par rate, participation rate, which is similar to the cap rate, why shouldn't they be telling us about the floor then? Because some of them say we have 135% participation rate. That means even if the market is low, or do they have a guaranteed? All these people that are having par rate do also have the guarantee that we should be trying to find out.
So some of them do have guarantee. However, if not all, annuities have a flaw. So that's why they're not talking about it, because it's there. Okay? They have flaws, especially fixed index annuity have a flaw. You're not going to lose your money because of the market fluctuation, but there's something you have to factor in. Majority of those indexes with higher participation rate comes with fees. So your fee might encroach into your earnings.
Interest.
So it need to, but they still have the flaw. The flaw is there, but you need to pay attention. Do you want to part way with the fees or not? Okay? Do you want to part way with the fees or not? So think about that.
So the ones that say your growth is at 8%, do they also have participation rates?
So when they say 8%, okay, it depends on 8% of what? Okay? 8% accrediting of what? So they may have anyway, Miss Cecilia, what will happen is that, because I like to look at numbers to answer this particular specific.
Okay, I have an example. We'll talk after this.
Yes, let's talk offline, but just note that fixed index annuity has a flaw. That is why it's a safe environment for your nest. However, the participation rate, you have to look at the language yourself. Yes, I'm going to participate. This one is going to have 135%. Is there any time it's going to go? Are they going to drop the participation rate? And in what condition can they drop the participation rate? Can they drop it? If they don't drop it, fine. But an indices that perform 135 times 0 is what?
135.
135 times 0.
It's 0. Oh, it's 0.
Is 0. So even if they give you 1,000 participation rate and that indices perform at 0, you don't have anything. But the truth is that having 0 or being in the negative are not the same. That is where the 0 becomes the hero. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. But my discussion here is for us to go back to our contract and read those contracts and understand. Don't focus on just how much you're paying. Don't just focus on that. It has robbed so many people the opportunity to see value in what they have. Okay? All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
When it comes to caps, the same statement stands as far as generalizations. Some companies do have some low caps. The lowest I have seen is in whole life with 4%. In a secure compounding account, caps can go as low as 8 to 9%. In the same breath, some companies have 12 to 15% caps and even uncapped growth indices, where you can participate in 100% plus of that selected index growth. You see, it's crucial to work with the correct person companies because there are different benefits and negatives. The companies also have the right to move caps down, and some have moved them. The most I have ever seen a cap reduce was 0.50%. So if it was 10% cap, it reduced to 9.5 because keep in mind that reduction is spread across all the clients in those contracts. Many times the companies have been quick to increase the caps back to their original number. When using the uncapped strategies, the companies are more likely to reduce the participation rate before even considering making the index capped. The flexibility in the participation rate is also a benefit for you as the client because no matter what, they are still participating in 100% of the index growth while ensuring they never lose growth and principal if the index performs negatively. In most cases, people don't fully understand why we would leverage life insurance tied to a properly structured IUL to grow wealth. It's crucial to know the why. There are three main tax codes we are leveraging within these plans. In some cases, people might want to leverage these strategies to have cheap permanent life insurance coverage. In some cases, people want to become their own bank and use the cash value to buy real estate and grow tax-free supplemental retirement income. Some people will use it for estate planning. The life insurance is simply a bonus. Here are the three tax codes you want to understand. IRC 72E allows the money to grow 100% tax-free. This includes credited interest not being taxed as capital gains. IRC 7702 allows for tax-free access to the cash value and death benefit at any age without taxes and penalties. I'm sorry, let me move to a different place. I have people working on my roof and they're starting to make noise. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I repeat, the IRC 7702 allows for tax-free access to the cash value and death benefit at any age without taxes and penalties. A note, policy loans and withdrawals will reduce available cash values and death benefits and may cause the policy to lapse or affect guarantees against lapse. Additional premium payments may be required to keep the policy in force in the event of a lapse. Outstanding policy loans in excess of an unrecovered cost basis will be subject to ordinary income tax. Tax laws are subject to change, and you should consult a tax professional. Policy loans are not usually subject to income tax unless the policy is classified as a modified endowment contract or a MEC under IRC section 7702A. However, withdrawals or partial surrenders from a non-MEC policy are subject to income tax to the extent that the amount distributed exceeds the owner's cost basis in the policy. IRC 101A. When you pass away, the funds grow in value and transfer to your family 100% tax-free income. The cash value that grew internally will be added to the total face amount and payout to your family. Note, this tax code only applies to policies structured as an increasing contract. Most whole life policies are level, which means the cash value is not added to the face amount. The insurance company keeps the cash value and pays out the labor fees amount. This is one of the only strategies in the entire industry that leverages all three of these tax codes at the same extent, at the same exact time wrapped up in one plan. These unique tax codes help separate these strategies from the rest and deliver a huge amount of value to you, your family, or your business. One of the most common misconceptions of IULs most often comes from investment communities, or worse, random bloggers who are unlicensed and uninformed on how IUL fee structure works. Actually, the next time you hear this kind of blanket statement, I want you to ask them to explain exactly how IUL fees are measured. What I find funny is that most people in the investment community have no understanding of the full value of Index Universal Life for retirement or even infinite banking, and much less exactly what is IUL's cost of insurance breakdown and how it works. It's very simple. The investment industry has been competing with the insurance industry for the same dollars. No wonder why the investment community leans heavily on the common opinion IULs are too expensive, without providing any facts or backing it up with proof. It's funny, though, how people will buy expensive cars, houses, and electronics, which obviously provide more benefits than cheaper options. So why do people disregard the unique benefits that IULs can provide and base one particular buying decision exclusively on what is cheapest? What you should be asking yourself thinking is, are IUL's distinctive blend of benefits undeniably valuable to you and your family? If you feel they would be valuable, then why not do an in-depth analysis to see if the cost for the benefits with IUL would, in fact, be too expensive for you and your dreams and goals? Now, most investments advisors trained by companies that don't directly profit from life insurance products. Did you know that? It's very common for them to lack the expertise to perform this kind of examination of an IUL. In fact, most will struggle to list even half of the benefits provided by a properly structured and max-funded IUL. Instead of having their comfortable business model threatened and forced into an intensive new learning curve, it's so much easier to throw around the common opinion that IUL's cost of insurance is expensive. This justifies the bias they have on insurance analysis and also keeps up more dollars for the financial products they can actually speak intelligently about. An analysis of cost versus benefits of a properly structured IUL should be performed rather than simply echoing the common mantra that IULs are expensive. So are IULs fees expensive? Let's think about it. Expensive compared to what exactly? Term insurance? Of course, IULs will cost more than a comparable term policy. IULs provide a unique combination of benefits that you can't get in term insurance or any other investment product for that matter. These benefits include tax-free growth, an exclusive way to capture growth from stock market volatility without participating in any of the downside of the market, tax-free access to both your principal and growth even before age 59 and a half, a tax-free death benefit that's permanent and doesn't expire after 20 or 30 years, potential lifetime access to the death benefit in cases of chronic illness, critical illness, terminal illness, or other situations requiring long-term care, protection from lawsuits and creditors in certain states. We have found that the higher the client...
Hold on, before you continue.
Yes, ma'am.
If from today, tell yourself this. You don't go to an investment person to ask them for information about an IUL. But this is the question you ask. Mr. John, I know you're my CPA. Do you have a life insurance license? It's against the law for you to talk about life insurance that you don't have the license.
Mm,
Does that trigger to somebody?
mm,
The first question you ask, before I ask you these questions, I know you're my CPA. I know you're my accountant, you're a financial advisor. Are you licensed to deal with life insurance product? If they're not licensed, which means anything else they're talking is what? Is baseless.
mm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Anybody else that you're going to ask for opinion, hey God, you're going to ask for an opinion whether you can protect yourself or not. The first question you ask is this, Mr. John, I need your opinion, but before I ask your opinion, let me ask you, are you licensed to deal with insurance products in America or Canada? If they say no, do you still think you're in your rightful mind to ask that person an opinion?
Mm-mm.
No, because they don't have the legal capacity to discuss that product with you. They don't have the practical capacity to discuss that. So you are in the wrong place. Now, when you happen to find one who have license, the next question is going to say, how long have you been practicing?
Mm.
You could be amazed how someone will wake up and another person happen to try to help them, and they go somewhere else and asking someone who is not licensed what they need to do with their protection portfolio.
Mm.
As you're reading, it just dawned on me that someone who is just like you're trying to practice medicine and you don't have license. That's what it means. Are you going to go to someone who do not have license to ask them about the medication, the better one to take? They are trying to practice medicine with no license. Can you practice nursing with no license? Pharmacy. Can you enter into that plane as a pilot without a license? But who dare you then? Who gives you the authority to speak on something that you have no license about? That is illegal. Just to
Mm.
let you know. And if you don't have license, somebody come up to you and say, oh, this thing. And you know, people who don't have license can confidently open their wide mouth and say that thing is a scam. Meanwhile, they don't have license. I don't know. That thought just came to my brain as you're reading this. I'm like, man, who is in agreement with me? He
That's
don't have to
powerful,
agree, or
Dr.
that's the
Ife.
law. He don't really
That's
have to
powerful.
agree. That is the law.
Mm.
Okay?
That's right. You know, the other day I saw it on TikTok. Somebody was saying IUS is scam. That person doesn't even have life insurance license. And I'm like, where did you get this from?
You're
Mm.
practicing medicine without license.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, what we do here, I will confidently say what we do here is more than medicine. Because let me tell you, for you to go see a doctor, if you don't have a protection, this benefit that he listed here, you may not even be able to see a doctor because you have to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very soon, the money you have in the bank will finish and you have no more cash flow. Guys, your IUL is your number one chief cash flow if you do it the right way. It's going to be your unending cash flow on what you do with it today. Today. It's going to determine how cash flow is going to produce for you in the future. It's going to be your friend. That's why you cannot mess with this marriage. You must make sure you dot your dot and cross your T's in this marriage of IUL. I'm telling you the truth. Go ahead, Miss Becky. I saw your hand up.
So,
Hold
sorry.
on there. Miss Becky, go ahead.
Just saying, I was raising my hand. You said raise your hand if you.
Oh,
if you-
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, please, from today, do not go to someone before you ask them. It's okay to get a second opinion, third opinion, fourth opinion, 10th opinion. But make sure where you're getting the opinion, they are licensed and they can demonstrate competency based on how many years of practice and how many people they've been able to provide solution to. If they cannot demonstrate that, I don't think they deserve you, unless you're the type that like things that do not have quality. Okay? But if you like quality like me, I have to understand your competency. I have to understand your legal capacity to engage in that conversation, even for us to start. So if you don't have the legal certificate and law and license, you can graduate from medical school. If you yet do not pass the board, you are not licensed to practice. Oh, I used to work with insurance company. Are you licensed? No. So even though you're working there, does not make you does not give you the capacity to do what? To engage in the discussion I'm talking about. I serve in the military, and we have this in the core barracks, right? If you like, live in the barracks from the day they born you to 100 years, you're not a soldier. You're just a civilian hanging around. Living in the military does not make you a soldier. You're just one of those nuisance around trying to sniff what we do. But you still don't know what we do. You can stay as much as you want. But living in the barracks does not do what? Does not make you a soldier. You have to be licensed, fully equipped with that training, with that capacity, in order to come out and take that badge and say, do you know I serve in the army? And when you do, when I meet you, I know you do serve. Because the language, your principles and your discipline are different. I'm telling you the truth. Okay. So, my sister, continue your reading.
We have found that the higher the client's income, the more valuable these benefits become to that client when properly explained. What if I proved to you that a properly structured IUL was no more expensive than decades of compounding managed money? Would you believe it? Let's start with this. Most clients have no solid understanding of how much they'll actually collectively pay for decades of professionally managed money on an increasing account balance. It obviously depends on the exact facts and circumstances, but there have been multiple studies with the IUL versus 401k or any kind of AUM, assets under management, where the AUM was given a better long-term rate of return. What was found through this research was that clients will often pay considerably more in fees for IUM, even when the client was in a higher tax bracket. They still ended up with less after-tax income during retirement and less money left behind for family by life expectancy. This is due to the special tax perks offered to permanent life insurance that I explained earlier. There's a table, those who have the book can look at it. It's important to keep in mind that the relevant facts and circumstances will change with every different fact pattern, but it's not as cut and dry as the investment community attempts to get people to believe. This is what I want you to do. Next time you hear that IULs are expensive, I want you to simply ask, compared to what? Ask them to explain their research backed by proof or admit that it is just an opinion. Ask your investment advisor how much they would charge to provide a cheaper investment alternative that can offer the exact same combination of benefits offered by Index Universal Life Insurance.
And me, I said, don't even ask them. Ask them first, do they have license?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even ask the opinion anymore. Don't worry asking about the opinion. Ask, are you licensed?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not licensed, they don't have the jurisdiction, the competency to discuss about it. Because you cannot discuss what you don't know. So let them stay in the investment environment. By the way, it's not investment or IUL or protection. It's investment and you need both.
Mm-hmm.
You need your investment, you need your protection. You need both. But however, your protection, which only comes from your life insurance, and a little bit from your annuities. But life insurance is tied to your health, guys. Your health matters. The time matters. Your driving record matters. Your criminal record matters. It's time sensitive. And the younger you are entering into the protection environment, the better. Anybody can wake up 100 years to start an investment. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how old are you. In fact, the younger you are, the less likelihood to engage in investment portfolio is low. Do you know that? That's the opposite. In protection, the younger you are, the better. In investment, the older you are, the better. I hope somebody is taking note of that. Now, but in your protection, it's linked, your health matters. You don't just, it's not what you automatically go to the bank and they sign here, you get it. You have to be approved. That is protection. Investment, you can wake up, do you have 10 million? Go start. Do you have $1? Go start. So it's not this or this. Come out of that. Let them not deceive you anymore. It's this and this. But your protection is your foundation. It's the first thing first. And the earlier you get it, the better. But your investment, as you go along, you have exhausted. That's why when we read the book, what would the Rockefellers do? What did they say? He said, get the highest protection you can afford as at the time that you can be approved. Approvability, number one, in the protection. Approvability is the key. Then after they approve you, then you talk about what? Affordability. Because if you like have 100 billion, if they don't approve in protection, you're not going to get it. So stop running to an investor to tell you, can you compare? What are you comparing? It's what you must have. And the law allows you up to 20% of your annual income into your protection. Take the 80%, go do investment. Take the 80%, put it in crypto, put it in stock, put it in real estate. It's good. You need it. Because you need to make more money to come and utilize your rich man rot. It's only protection portfolio you have rich man rot. Do you guys know there's what they call rich man rot? The same way they gave the poor people the rot IRA, rot 401k3, 403b, rot 401k. And they are pushing it. They're using social media to push it. Anybody that comes here and say, oh, do you have rot? Ask them, am I not qualified to have rich man rot? Am I not? Do you have one? Rich man rot only exists in what? In where? Protection portfolio. It doesn't exist in investment portfolio. So you need both. When you set up your protection, now you go to your investment, go make money, pay your tax. Take the remaining one, go put it where? In your rich man rot. That you never pay that tax again for the rest of your life. How some people are taking note of this. So don't go to argue whether I need investment or protection. No, it's not all. It's and you need both. If you're going to create a sustainable wealth, even with your $1 you have, you need both. You need your investment and your protection. But your protection first. Your protection first. Super fund it to the base of your capability. What you can afford. Then go do the investment with your 80%. Make more money. Pay your tax. Bring your balance. After taxes, you must pay your tax, okay? After taxes, come and do what? Super fund it using your rich man rot. Guys, it's there. If you don't know what is rich man rot, tell the person that gave you this Zoom link, I need my own setup. Because if you make a lot of money, you don't have a rich man rot. Here is the danger. One, everything you have must remain in the volatile market, or you give it to the bank. The bank turn around and utilize the rich man rot. Just to let you know. You have the right to use the same strategy that a bank is using. And that's the easiest way to rob a bank. You don't need to use gun to go rob a bank. They will kill you. You'll go to jail. The easiest way to rob a bank is to do the exact same thing the bank is doing. What are they doing? They have money in life insurance, which is the protection due to safety, stability, and growth. That is what Jay Thompson said. I didn't say it. And they do what? They invest in real estate. Learn how to use other people's money. OPM. And also learn how to use other people's time. Are you using it too? Miss Becky, are you using OPM? What are you
Yes.
going to ask me? But let's say you didn't know. What are you going to ask? What is that?
When-
Okay? You'll be curious to know what is that.
Yeah.
My people, this thing is clear. Sometimes I said, how can I get my people to just open this brain and think? You're going to ask somebody, an investor, whether you can get a protection. That is not their field. It's not their area of specialties. Let them manage your investment. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not asking you to use your investment money for your protection. All we're asking you, can you do at least to what the law allows? Up to 20% of your annual income is allowed to go into protection if they approve you. On the condition, if they approve you. If they didn't approve you, sorry. So don't go to be asking pastor to pray for you and you will not go see a doctor. See the pastor and see the doctor. Both of them have a role to play. The doctor will diagnose you, give you medication. The pastor will pray for the medication to work for you. So you need both. If you go to that pastor and say, don't see a doctor, run away because you and your pastor need deliverance. So you need both of them the same way here. You need your investment, you need your protection. Stop asking an investor how to do with your protection. That is not their field. They are not licensed to function in that field. But guess what? You can collaborate with them because you need to fund your protection from the money, the gain you're making from investment. So you can collaborate with them. You can work with them. But for the fact they are not licensed, hear me out. I didn't say your CPA is incompetent. That's not what I said. I didn't say your financial advisor, business analyst. No, but I'm telling you they have their area of specialties, not in protection portfolio. That's not their job. If you want to discuss protection portfolio, which is life insurance, look for what? You look for me. I'm a licensed financial professional. That's my job. That is my expertise. I have the solution to everything around you. To keep your home for you, to keep your family intact, to make sure that you have the right, you use the most tax efficient method to grow your money without paying more than you're supposed to legally pay in taxes. But I work with your investor, your money manager, to make sure that you have enough to make sure that your 20% is sitting. The law allows that. But where you refuse to listen to the licensed professionals, guess what? 70, 75 years, 80, you will remember us. You remember that person. By then, your CPA is nowhere to be found. Because they have done their job of what? Accumulating wealth for you. That is their job. Accumulation. Their job is not safety, it's not protection. It's not stability. That is not their job. But you need growth, you need safety, and you need stability. Okay? So let's collaborate instead of you cheating yourself due to analysis paralysis. Okay. Let's go. Go ahead.
Okay. I would put money on this. They can't without using some sort of life insurance product. Cost and structure. Another huge misconception is that the insurance inside this will eat away all the cash value, leaving you with no money. I believe I don't need to explain why this is touted so much, but I focus more on how this is avoided by structuring the plans correctly while ensuring it is funded correctly based on the goals and needs of the person and family I'm sitting with. When building these plans, we need to always consider the net amount at risk, which is the amount of insurance the policy is started at. It's crucial that it's built with a minimal amount of life insurance while keeping the policy's integrity as a non-modified endowment contract. When the client max funds their plan, some of the money will cover the cost of insurance and some of the company's internal fees, but the larger portion will go into the cash value to earn uninterrupted compounding interest. Let's simplify this. If you had a car payment of $500 and your interest due every month was only $50, how much would go to the principal of your car? $450. It's the same concept here. We want as much as possible to go into the accumulated value. Again, we aren't necessarily leveraging these plans for life insurance. We are leveraging these for the tax codes explained in this chapter. By reducing the amount of life insurance it started with, it reduces the cost and even more so long-term into the later years of the policy, which will allow us to live off the interest, which is also tax-free. Cost structure is run against a managed advisor, where they are charging 1% above. However, there are several fees associated with your 401k that aren't even being discussed with you. And as you can see, that was only for 30 years, not including the cost of market volatility or the cost of taxes in retirement, which more times than not is not even talked about by the traditional advisors. I've taken countless clients. I have had countless clients tell me they weren't taught about these aspects, but that same person tells them that properly structured IULs are expensive and don't work. This is why we ask, expensive compared to what? Every case situation and policy differs based on your unique needs and goals, so the cost structures will not always be the same. When you and I meet, I will actually share and break down the annual cost summary for the specific plan built for you. This will show you how much less expensive a properly structured IUL is compared to a traditionally managed account, while considering all the benefits that come along with this plan compared to the alternative. The long-term care. Long-term care coverage is leveraged if you cannot perform two out of the 6 daily living activities: dressing, bathing, continence, transferring, eating, and toileting. When a standalone plan is purchased and you pass away, your family will not receive anything because it's for long-term care. The best way to add long-term care into your planning is by bundling it with your properly structured IUL. This way, you will be covered if you have an long-term care scenario. If you pass away, your family will receive the death benefit as well as the cash value, 100% tax-free income. Bundling your long-term care will also cut the cost compared to how much you have. For example, I helped a client with $250,000 in LTC coverage and paid $1,800 per year. They then started their IUL and needed $1.5 million coverage to fit in their annual premium and was also approved for $1.5 million in long-term care. This cost for that long-term care is $445 per year. So he received 5 times more coverage for 25% less, while still having all the benefits mentioned in this chapter so far. Talk about powerful. This is one aspect of a financial plan that is easily glossed over. Most people say, well, I'll get long-term care coverage when I need it. You see, the problem with that is when you need it, you will no longer qualify for it. That is like saying, when you get into a car accident, you'll get your car insurance so they can fix your car. It doesn't work that way. So there's a graph for those who have the book, Price Room Nursing Home Costs. And this is the national median cost for a nursing home private room in 2020 was $105,850 per year. If you have never actively researched the cost of long-term care, I have attached the one cost, private room nursing home, and the median is $105,850. If there is no way for the individual to pay for this, many times the family will have to step in and help by selling assets, liquidating retirement accounts, and accounting for all the taxes and penalties if this happens before 59 and a half years of age. Planning for a long-term care event is very important for you, your family, and your future self. Business owners. As a business owner, and depending on how your business is structured, you can leverage a properly structured IUL for supplemental retirement or even to retain key employees. You, as the owner, can pay yourself or your key business partners a cash bonus to purchase their IUL. The employer can design the bonus arrangement to give the executive the option to take the bonus in cash and then contribute their premiums or have it paid directly to the insurance company to fund the IUL. Even if bonuses are paid directly to the insurance company, the executive is still the policy owner and can name their beneficiary. The business can also receive a tax write-off for providing this bonus as long as it is an ordinary and necessary business expense paid in the taxable year while carrying on trade or business. The payment must also be made in good faith as additional compensation for services rendered. You now create a tax-free supplemental retirement for that executive, whose contributions are typically much higher than a traditional retirement account, while still being able to receive tax write-offs for the business. This can also create business succession for you as the business owner. It gives you something to fall back on if an LTC need arises. You plan to sell the company or simply want to build up a tax-free family legacy with all the above-mentioned benefits. $1 Million Baby Plan. Imagine this, a kid is born and one of these plans is started for them as soon as their Social Security number arrives. If you know who the Rockefellers are, this is exactly what they did for their kids. The basics are still the same. The only difference is they have so much time on their side, it allows for more growth. The kids can then utilize the money in these plans for school. Once they graduate, you can leverage the cash value to pay off their student debt and then have the child pay back the money into their own policy rather than paying an institution that interest. If they decide not to go to school, they can use the money to start a business, buy a car or a home, and so on. They can leverage this account later in life for tax-free supplemental retirement income too. Unlike a 529 plan, if the child decides not to go to school and that 529 is utilized for anything other than school, it will be considered taxable income. A 529 plan can also lose value if the index loses money, and schools will consider the money saved in the 529 plan as an asset for the child. So it could disqualify them from being approved for loans and grants. These scenarios can be avoided by utilizing a properly structured IUL to build $1 billion baby plan. It creates a legacy from the minute it's set up. Real estate investors. Many individuals who buy real estate must use their own money from savings or get hard money loans or angel investors to buy property and begin their journey. I've started helping people leverage a properly structured IUL to build an infinite bank to cash flow money out of their plan, buy the property and put the money back, just as they would with a normal saving account, or they would take a loan from a bank and then pay them back. It's not different, but it's more beneficial for you. If a real estate investor wants to buy property to cash flow the rent, they could also use these strategies and then use the cash flow to put the money back into their policy, which will further allow them to purchase more property, and repeat the process. If you pass away, the policy will pay out to your beneficiary, allowing them to pay off the real estate and keep the property. Many times people take out that loan, pass away, and then forward on debts to their families. And they will sometimes need to sell off assets and properties to pay off debts and any estate taxes. So not only can this strategy be used to build your wealth, but it can be used to transfer your wealth and assets that you have built.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Mhm.
Guys, you cannot
Mhm.
beat this. You cannot beat this. Okay? It's not far away. When you look at these things, you be thinking, people like David McNabb, people like are they sitting in the same room? My people, it's clear. It's the same message. The law is clear. That is why it looks as if they're just trying to explain it for you to comprehend. Okay? It's the same. They cannot be talking about the same thing over and over, and someone is still trying to question and trying to, can I do that? My people, you need your investment, you need your protection. You need both. Your protection is time sensitive. Your protection is linked to your health. It's linked to your income. It's linked to your criminal record. Your protection can only be given to you by a licensed financial professional, no other person. No other person have the right, the legal capacity to offer your protection. You need it, and you need it yesterday. And you need enough. Needing protection, you don't need to shortchange yourself. You need enough. At least the lowest you could have is at least 10 times of your annual income. At least start from there. 10 times. As long as your 20% can pay your 10 times, start from there. And if you really want to know how you can empower yourself, the best way to empower yourself is get licensed. All of you here are educated. If you're not licensed, get licensed. Ask the person that threw you this Zoom link, how can I get a license so I can take ownership of my own protection portfolio? Yes, you can write your policies, but guess what? You can manage it. Right? You can manage it. You can be the one to look at the design and restructure it. If there's something that does not align with what you believe, you call the insurance company and say, do it this way. But you can only know that it's not designed well if you have the knowledge. Not from somebody say, properly structured. What is properly structured? Is properly structured. Does it suit my client? The only thing that is properly structured is whatever that suits my client. Whatever that is to the best interests of my client is what is properly structured. But how will my client even know that this is to their best interest when there's so much noise around? They're not willing to sit down and read like this. How would they know? All of us need long-term care. All of us are going to need long-term care at some point. There's no long-term care in the investment portfolio, just to let you know. You can only see it in protection. It's either you have it as a rider to your policy or you buy a standalone. You still have to be approved. It's still tied to your what? Your health. You still have to be approved. What if you get it before nothing is in your record? Do I have physicians on this call, providers, nurse practitioners, those people that have diagnostic power? Do you know that you are in the center of this whole thing? The physicians are the controller of protection portfolio. Let me tell you now. Go to your primary physician and say, do you know you are in the center of a protection portfolio in United States? Do you even have one? Are they cheating you? How can you be the controller, the engineer? Because what you put in the chart will determine whether somebody will get a protection portfolio or not. And you yourself, Does the engineer don't have one, or you don't have the right time? Think about that for a moment. A pilot is trying to fly the plane, driving, but doesn't even understand how the plane works. All of you will crash. JJ, no headache. You don't need a physician in investment portfolio. Do you know that? But in protection portfolio, the physician is the most important person. The nurse practitioner, the physician assistant. See these three people that have the capacity for diagnostic procedures in America and Canada are the what? Are the most critical elements in protection portfolio. But as they are putting that diagnosis, you don't even know if that client already have a protection portfolio. Can you imagine where if this could be part of their curriculum and say every provider in America and Canada must have a life insurance license? Who will join me? Let's go to Congress and push for that legislation. It will change so many things. It will change a lot. Questions? Any question, any comment? If you have a question, put your hand up. Or if you have a comment. We're going to end on this chapter today. Okay? We're going to end on this chapter today. We will start chapter 13, which is call to action.
Which book? Which book, Dr. Ruth?
Which book? We're going to end here today on this book. Now, we're going to start chapter 13 of this book. Next time we'll come here. Now, let's talk about the book we're going to read after this one. Okay? Let's talk about the next book we're going to read. All right? So the book I want us to read is what? Is called they call it Becoming Your Own Banker. Becoming Your Own Banker. I need to find where mine is. I'm trying to find who the author is. Hold on.
Nelson Nash.
I believe so. Becoming Your Own Banker.
Dr. Ruth, I have it.
Okay, can you show it, please?
Son's names were not listed, but they carry significance in terms of the history and identity of the
Please, can you mute that person, my people? Where are my co-hosts? So look at the book. See this book?
Okay.
Do you see it? Can you see it?
So it just
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this is the next book we're going to read. Okay? Becoming Your Own Banker. All right. So let's read, guys. In this holiday, there's going to be Thanksgiving and all that and all that. Let's start buying clothes. There's too much clothes in our closet. Let's start buying books. Let's start reading books. That is the best gift to give. Okay? Our next book club is going to be on it is going to be on the 1st of November. On the 1st of November, our next book club is going to be on the 1st of November. Okay? Hopefully we'll finish this book and we'll start with Becoming Your Own Banker. How many people want to be their own banker? You have your own bank. Are you excited about that book? Yes. Okay. Let's get it. Let's get it done. All right. Let me see the hands that are up. Okay. All right. So Steph, how do you say it? Stacia? Is that Stacia or Steve? Go ahead.
Me?
Yes, go ahead.
You were just asking a question about being your own banker, and I put my hand up.
Okay. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
All right. You can put your hand up. Everybody, put your hand down. Put your hand down. Anybody have a question or comment? Okay.
Yes, Dr. Ruth.
All right. Who is that?
This is Dr. Joy.
All right, Dr. Joy, go ahead.
Okay. I'm concerned about the November 1st. Remember the Chicago Elevate is happening and it starts 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, unfortunately, yes. But that is for a specific group of people. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for bringing that up. Any other comment? Any other question? If that, okay, let me see. I want to make sure I catch it. Mary Ann.
Yes, Dr. Ife, I'm just checking to see whether the YouTube video of the recording stays up, so that if you miss some of it, you can go back. Like some of us who might be in a class on the 1st can come back and read and follow the YouTube video.
Okay. I will post the YouTube video on here. I will post it on here so that people can and share it, ask them to go watch. Okay. And if you're not on our GroupMe, can someone post the link on the GroupMe so that anybody that is interested can join? Please, the only thing we don't want to see is naked people. Okay, because I don't think it's going to give us any value. But it's okay to ignite discussion. Let's talk. Please, we're not representing any organization, any individual. We're just here to read, educate ourselves, and engage in, things that matters the most to us. Okay? So otherwise, I appreciate all of you. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, and all that. I'm not that vast yet. So if you know how to do it better, please reach out to me. Offline, we can talk about that. Okay? We can talk about that. Otherwise, if there's no questions, I want to say thank you all so much for coming to training to the book club today. My number is 469. Excuse me. My number is 469-487-3469. You can text me, you can call me, but of course, you guys not busy. I'll get to you as much as possible. But the first person to reach out to is whoever that gave you this Zoom link. If I'm not the one that sent you this Zoom link, make sure you reach out to that person first for any questions, anything that you want. If they didn't answer you, I'll be happy to help. I'm here to serve our community, whatever we can do to create a lasting solution, sustainable financial environment that all of us can thrive and benefit our families. That's what we are up to. And thank God for the grace that is available upon all our lives, okay? To come together, read together, readers and winners. Okay, I posted this book club link thing on the Facebook. If you're here, please go to my Facebook and say I attended the book club today, and I will be happy to attend next time. So that maybe that will make some people to know what we're doing, and comment something good. Please, we don't want anything negative. Comment something good. We only want positive stuff. The negative stuff, we address it sometimes somewhere else. Okay? All right. If there's no other question, comment, I want to say thank you so much and have the rest of your day.
That's great.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a nice weekend.
Dr. Ruth.
Have a nice